What's going on, YouTube? So it's been a little while since I was able to do a video. Just been working lately and you know, just can't seem to find that time, but oh, look at that shine. So just wanted to do a quick little video today. We're gonna take this thing for a little ride, but I wanted to do a quick little once over on this. I've had a bunch of people ask me about a whole bunch of little things here and there that I've done to this tractor, so I wanted to do a little video just kind of rehashing back in a nutshell what all I did to this thing. I guess we will start with the engine itself. So obviously the engine on this tractor didn't have the rain stack on it, didn't have no cover on the exhaust, so it literally filled for about 10 years or so with water in the engine. Filled up the pan, it filled up, actually I got lucky, it filled up the bottom of the pan, should I say. Probably to about here worth of water. Carburetor was filled with water, cylinders were rusted solid, valves were all rusted solid, all the seats were shot, everything was just, there was no way, even with marble, this engine was ever going to turn over. This engine was done. So I rebuilt the engine completely. New bearings, new pistons, new sleeves, new everything. I did the head myself. I went ahead and, you know, cleaned the top up, had it shaved. The only thing I had was just had it cleaned up a little bit. But I went ahead and I did the valve guides, everything myself. You can look back through some previous pictures and you'll see where I actually cut the seats and I lapped them and all that. I'll probably end up putting up another video with just pictures, kind of showing the tractor from beginning to end, everything that I did to it. So that was like the biggest thing, was getting the engine running first. Once I got the engine back together and I got it started the first time, then after that it was time to proceed with the rest of the teardown. Put a new clutch and pressure plate and throwout bearing in it, so that was all new. I tore the mag apart because somebody had an external coil just hanging off a bracket mounted up in here. So I went ahead and rebuilt the mag, new condenser, new points, new coil, everything inside here. So this is all new. Mag works beautifully, have zero issues out of it whatsoever. It is still a 6-volt system. I went ahead and rebuilt the generator on it as well. Inside, all the new brushes and all. Now this was what they call like a cutaway generator, cutaway relay. So the relay obviously originally was down here, so this has been converted to a different style relay. So it does have the 3 brushes inside of it, but it works off this relay. Everything charges perfect on it. Carburetor also same thing. I had one of the Chinese carburetors on there. Had nothing but issues with the Chinese carburetor. The first one leaked really bad. Second one, there was like zero adjustment to it. No matter what I did to the air and fuel, no matter what I did to the main jet, nothing. Couldn't get it to change. Couldn't get it to idle up. It ran terrible. So I went ahead and sandblasted the original carburetor, sprayed it with a clear coat just to keep that natural metal look, but to keep it from rusting, and then rebuilt the carb, and it works beautifully. Radiator, same thing. Everything was good except for that top neck was actually JB welded. So I went ahead and had that resoldered and cleaned the original radiator back up. There is a video of that too, and got that all back together. Just while I'm standing here, I'll point out, I've had a couple people say, you know, that originally didn't come gold. I don't know how somebody is figuring this is gold. It's not. It's an off-white. You can kind of see the off-white against the pure white right there. So it's an off-white. So I went with the IH off-white paint on this tractor because that's what I wanted. It's my tractor, which is why I went the route I wanted, because I like the two-tone. It is a 49. To me, it fits the look. I know they didn't start some of these apparently until the 50s, but this tractor did have white paint on some of the components. Didn't have it on the chassis, so I'm guessing maybe at one point, either through its life or at a dealership, somebody did put white paint on this thing at one point, whether it's in the 50s or whether it's in the 60s. So once I saw it, I opted to say, you know what, I'm going back red and white on this as well. You can see how beautiful that clear coat shines on this tractor. So anyway, so that got the mechanicals done as far as the engine. I got lucky on the touch control as far as the hydraulics. Everything was good. Of course, it had water in it, condensation, moisture builds up in there. Flush that out, new fluids all in there. Took all the final drives. They all have new seals and everything in these. New seals on the covers on the final drive. New brakes. Put the bands on. So obviously the bands come with the arms, so it's all one piece. This is all new. I Cerakoted the base of the brackets for the touch controls. Cerakoted, you know, the stops for it as well. The front end was the biggest thing. This front end was terrible. The arm itself had a ton up and down play in the shaft where that bolt goes through and it locks this onto that sector shaft. And in the sector shaft itself where the 3 splines come down, I welded metal in every one of those splines and then file fitted this actually to that sector shaft. And then that half moon where that bolt goes through to lock this in place to that sector shaft, I went ahead and welded that up a little bit too, and then ground that out to the half moon to make it a really snug fit to that bolt. It took every bit of play out of the steering. I would say the steering is probably as good, if not better, than it was when it was new. I did replace all the grease zerks with all the new stainless ones, as you see. All the ball joints were good, so I repacked everything. I put the boots and everything on to help kind of keep the oil in. New seals on the front wheels. New bearings, new seals, new everything on the inside of the... oh wow, I'm having a brain fart today, guys. I apologize. In the steering box. All right, I'll just say the steering box. Anyway, everything's new inside there. So the steering on this tractor, I mean, as you see, like right now, I'm turning the wheel ever so slightly, and see how fast it grabs. The only play you see is just a little itty bitty bit in that ball joint right there, just because obviously these just have those little basically convex little like, I don't know, I guess you could say like washers in a sense inside here, and the way they actually just go around and hold onto the ball joint. Obviously there's not much you can do with it, so you can see there is no movement that way. It just goes that way. So of course when you turn the wheel, they're going to do that a little bit. That's all the issues with the steering now. The steering's perfect. I used to be able to, when I first got it, of course I couldn't drive it because the motor was locked up, but when you would sit on the tractor to turn the wheel, I could take and go from the 12 o'clock position all the way down to probably about the 5 o'clock position to go right, and I'd have to bring it all the way around to about the 7 o'clock to go left. So that steering had a ton of slop in it. So I took care of that. These will actually snap right here at the welds quite often, just for the fact of through the years not having a step on here, people will just put their foot there, grab a hold of the steering wheel, give it a tug, and they're pulling all their body weight down on top of this arm, and eventually it can snap these. I welded all of mine on the internal, re-supported that bracket. It's pretty solid on the inside. This arm will not break again. But I am actually going to be doing a video very soon. I'm going to build a new step for here. So there's companies that sell the steps, but I figure this way, in case anybody else wants to build their own step that isn't a shin buster, I'm going to show how to actually weld up and lay out a step. Let's see, what else? Clutch. I mean, everything is perfect. I mean, as you see, I got my 1/2 inch of play right there, and that starts to grab. So clutch is perfect. Springs. I bought a 3-pack of springs from Amazon, for one for each one of the brake pedals, one for the clutch. It was $9.99 for 3 springs. The reason it's $9.99 is because the springs are absolutely awful. They did not have enough pressure to return these brakes. So I went ahead and went back to Steiner, ordered the springs from them, which were about, I think, $14 a piece for the springs. But as you see, it returns the brakes perfectly like it's supposed to. Don't skimp out on the springs. Go with the proper springs. Save yourself a lot of headache. Let me see what else. The rims were Cerakoted. I am doing something different to these rims, maybe next year. It's gonna be really cool. I ain't gonna say what, but you guys will find out. Did jump the tire size up, obviously, to the 11.2 by 24s on the back, so it gave a little bit more meat, a little bit better stance. I like the look of it. And I jumped the fronts up to the 5 by 15s instead of the 4s that were on there. Again, gave it a better stance, jumped it up a little bit. I think it actually sits very nice. Let me see. Let's continue on back. Springs were busted for the seats, so I replaced the springs on it. I know these bolts right here are usually always turned around opposite way up. I wanted something a little bit more friendly to push down on, so if the springs come down, it hits the top of the bolt rather than hitting the sharp side and constantly eating the paint off of there. So I reversed mine. Replaced the serial number plate, and I actually laser engraved my numbers and letters on there, so that came out nice. So nobody figured out what we made on here. Had a couple guesses, nobody guessed right. But long story short, we actually laser cut new seals to actually go onto the rock shaft itself that mounts to the fender. So when you grease these up, no more grease is pumping up against your fenders and then sitting on there or oozing out or anything else. So we actually made seals to actually go between there. If anybody's ever interested in any of these seals, hey, shoot us a message and I'll give you the information. If you want to buy some from us, go ahead. Like you said, you see, they look good, work good. You know, obviously back in the day, IH, you know, it didn't really matter to put those on there, but it's just one of those little small details I wanted. So if anybody's interested, as you see, they look good, they fit good, they work absolutely perfect, and like I said, I laser cut them, so they're good to go. Let's see what else. Drawbar, refinished the drawbar, didn't put the swinging part of the drawbar on. It's just going to pull that small hay wagon right here, and once we refinish that and set it all up, it's going to kind of mimic this tractor. So I'm just going to run that off the ball. That will work just fine. New gauges, new switch, all the decals, put all the cork in, all the implement holes like it should be. Not that this is sitting out in the moisture of the weather, but put them on anyway. Hydraulics work perfect on the tractor. Everything works perfect on the tractor. The whole thing runs absolutely beautiful. Did replace all the pins and everything with all the new set. They look good. It kind of helps stand out a little bit. Let's see what else. Cerakoted the exhaust, and as you see, it's still staying exactly the color it was when I Cerakoted it. That's actually an Elite black. I think it's like Glacier black or something like that. It's one of the Cerakotes for exhaust paint. Holds up very well, hasn't turned. And then it brings me to the paint. The grill was so beat up on this tractor. All the fins, every single fin was bent, twisted, moved. That center support bar was actually broke. It was going to the side. All the welds through here were broke. This was all opened up. This was all caved in. This was all caved in. This area right here where the mounting bolt goes was ripped through. The bracket was actually up to here, bent. This hole was all caved in all through here. It was actually really bad. It almost looks like a brand new grill when you look at it. And I surprised myself with my body work that I was actually get this this grill this straight. I mean, it actually came out absolutely perfect. So as I said, well, I've also put the new screen in. As you see, it's got the new screen inside there. It's got the original glass in the headlights. All I did was replace the seals, the bulbs, the chrome backing to help shine them up a little bit. But the glass and all is actually the original guide glass. But then it brings me to the paint. I use magic paint. It's the IH white. One of my other videos, I have all the numbers, exactly what I used. This is the magic paint IH red. These are single stage paints, but I went ahead and sprayed first coat, let it sit for 24 hours. Supposed to go light. I didn't go as light as I should have, but I went light-ish. Sprayed that, got that done, got the second coat on, taped everything up, sprayed the red. Same thing, 2 coats, and then once everything was done, I wet sanded what I could, got all the blemishes out, and then I used speed coat, clear coat to actually go over top of this, and I used the medium activator, and it actually set it up within probably 4 hours. But as you see, that clear coat gave an amazing shine to this. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't be any happier with that clear coat. So the brand paint itself, I love it. It worked very well with the magic paint, but you can see magic paint with no clear, magic paint with clear. Night and day difference there. I did the fenders as well. They're clear coated, so you can see the difference. Clear to no clear. I mean, the shine's not bad on the Magic. If you're just painting the tractor as it is, just go out and work, perfect. But if you want to shine her up a little bit, make it look like a show tractor, that's the way to go. I did replace the wiring harness with an actual factory wiring harness because this one was actual toast. You know what, guys, I think that's about it, except for the stainless steel muffler that I put on from Steiner. Wow, yeah, I feel like it's kind of funny to wrap this up in a nutshell because of the amount of work I put into this tractor. And then of course I got to clean it now, it's gotten dirty. But the mat that I picked up off of eBay, I went ahead and pulled up the heel guard, drilled it down, mounted it, so that way if this ever gets transported on an open trailer, this won't blow off. But this is going to get transported in my enclosed trailer, so I'm not going to have that issue. It clears everything just fine for the brakes and all. Other than that, let's take it for a quick little cruise. We're going to throw this puppy in 4th gear and take it for a ride. Oh yeah, before I do forget, somebody did ask. They wanted to see what the brackets came out like for the hood. There's the brackets that I Cerakoted. So as you see, they came out nice. They look good. And yeah, that's about it. So we're gonna take it for a ride, and after that, we are going to start a video where we're gonna go ahead and bring the old H over to the front loader, and we're gonna go ahead and mount this thing up, replace all the hydraulic lines, and get this front loader back in action on this tractor. And then we're gonna do the brakes, and then we're gonna work with the clutch and the belly pump and all that good stuff. So we're gonna get this old girl where she needs to be. But first, let's go for a ride. All right, let me see if I can jump up here with one hand without grabbing the steering wheel and yanking it like I told you. Ooh. And of course, I've always loved my skull shifters, so I had to get the skull shifters. And the suicide knob. All right. It's in third gear, so I know it's in gear, and I'm leaving it in gear, but I am pushing the clutch in. Pull the switch. Starts up beautifully. Let's go ahead and put it down in fourth gear. This is the first time it's really been out and running in probably about 2 weeks. So, starts right up. Let's go for a ride. Actually, before I go too far, let me stick my finger in the hole in the back of my phone, so I'm gonna go drop my phone somewhere on the road. Alright, let's go this way. Yeah, how tight it is. They don't have any rattles out of the tractor, nothing. It's all those bumps. And we did just get our road paved, so it's gonna be a nice smooth ride for the tractor. I could throttle it up a little bit more if I wanted to, but no sense. But she drives so good. Go a little bit more. Alright guys, we're going to turn around right here. Gotta admit, ride's pretty nice on this brand new road. And it's a tractor, so there ain't much you can do about straight cut gears. Go for a ride around the back. We're going to cut it down to third gear. I don't want to go flying through the back and forth. Believe it or not, the tractor actually gets up and goes pretty damn quick. My beautiful week pull up. One of many. my friends, that's it for the ride today. That's it for the little walk around. So if anybody had any questions on anything I did, feel free to shoot me a message and ask. I think we're going to end up taking this thing for a night ride one of these times. So eventually we're going to fire it up, take it out for the nighttime, and turn on the headlights. So other than that, thank you for watching. Hit that notification bell. We got a lot of work to do on that H. So you might want to stay tuned for that. And other than that, hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for watching.